This is Bob. Bob is not just a developer. He is a cloud survivor.
He's leading an engineering team, building an e-commerce empire, one microservice at a time. The system is a sprawling distributed beast.
But lately, Bob was pulling his hair out.
It starts with that dreaded tsunami of Grafana alerts screaming about latency spikes. Slack channels blow up. Error logs fly left and right. AWS CloudWatch is thrown endless exceptions. And Bob knows it's time to transform into full-on survivor mode. Just last night,
A 2 a.m. call. A user's cart exploded.
was it the payment service or the inventory API? Or that sneaky CloudWatch log buried under 10,000 info entries? Service A is blaming Service B, which is pointing fingers at a Python Lambda someone deployed last week, a language Bob is still trying to wrap his head around. And don't even mention Terraform. Trying to figure out dependencies,
Forget about it.
Bob isn't just debugging. He's in high-stakes, digital scavenger's hunt, piecing together clues to get architecture insights into this epic AWS microservices maze. 47 Lambdas, 12 EC2 instances, and an S3 bucket that's just for the moral support.
It's a lot.
And the documentation? Fragmented documentation is an understatement. Jira tickets, GitHub wikis, Confluence pages, Slack threads. Bob's team is spending half their time combing through every corner just to cobble together a complete picture of past design decisions. It's a knowledge siloed nightmare. Kernighan's law says, debugging is twice as hard as writing the code. A brutal truth coined in 1978 by Brian Kernighan and Philip James Ploga in their book The Elements of Programming Style, back when debugging meant squinting at punch cards. But if debugging was hard then, what would Kernighan say about it in the microservices, cloud computing, and distributed gremlins era? Bob wrestled the bug into submission for hours on end. And when he finally fixes the fire,
Time for API docs. Again.
because of course, the API changed the game. Canary releases, feature toggles, new features for the B2B platform. Every tweaks meant Bob transforms into a documentation ninja, manually updating open API specs and user guides and silently praying users don't get lost in the chaos or outdated info. Keeping docs accurate and user-friendly is just a full-time job disguised as part of his job description. It's a race against time, against complexity, against sanity. And Bob and his team are exhausted.
But hold on, Bob.
Because I stumbled upon something that might just save our developers' sanity and bring peace to such microservices mayhem. It's multiplayer. Say goodbye to microservices chaos. When I first heard about it, I was skeptical.
Another platform promising the moon?
But then I dug in and realized this isn't just another platform. It's actually pretty brilliant, especially if you are dealing with complex systems, managing distributed engineering teams, and nodding your head to every single pain point Bob just went through. Auto documentation. First thing that blew my mind, auto documentation. Seriously, auto documentation. Remember those days of dreading documentation sprints? Multiplayer basically watches your system in action, understands those complex interconnections, and then boom. System diagrams, dependency maps, API references, workflow visualization, docs appear like magic. No more deciphering code hieroglyphics. No more fragmented knowledge. No more outdated user guides turning into a maze of misinformation. This keeps everyone on the same page, especially if your team is spread out, or when in the future you come back to this project and think, wait, what was I thinking? And let's be honest, who enjoys manually maintaining architecture diagrams and documentation? This frees you and your team to focus on what's matter.
Building awesome stuff.
Building awesome stuff. Debugging.
Okay, documentation is amazing, but debugging, that's where the real pain lives, right?
Multiplayer has this platform debugger, and it's like upgrading from dial-up to fiber optic. Instead of just stepping through code line by organizing line, hoping for a clue in a sea of logs, you get a visual view of your entire system in action, see messages flowing across components, and understand complex interactions as they happen.
No more guessing games.
No more drawing in fragmented logs. You can see what's going on, diagnose misalignments and dependencies, and fix it faster.
Seriously, faster debugging? That's team level superpowers.
Demo time. Multiplayer in action.
Alright, enough talk. Let's see multiplayer in action.
First things first. You jump into multiplayer, sign up in a breeze. Just the usual email or Google login. Once you are in, you are greeted with your project's dashboard. Let's create a new project. We'll call it Bob E-commerce Empire. Now the cool part, designing our system visually. Okay, system designed. Now the real magic, the platform debugger. Let's say Bob finally reproduces that pesky bugs. Instead of just describing it in Jira, he hits record in multiplayer. He runs through the bug scenario, simulating user actions, triggering API calls, whatever it takes to make that bug shows its face. And then stop recording. See this? This is our bug scenario, visually recorded. You can step through time, inspect messages between services, and see exactly what went wrong, where, and when. No more digging through endless logs. Bob can see the problem in real time and visually. Pretty cool, right? Bob's second chance. From 2 a.m. calls to startup superhero.
Alright, back to our Bob.
Fast forward, Bob, wiser and slightly less stressed, joined a new startup, Awesome App. They are building an ambitious real-time social platform, distributed by design, complex from the get-go. Their code base is sprawling, their team is growing fast, and things are threatening to get messy. Documentation was lagging, debugging was a nightmare, and deadlines were looming. Potential chaos, basically. But Bob, quick on his feet and tired of 2 a.m. firefights, dug into his arsenal of hard-won lessons. He introduces multiplayer to Awesome app. Suddenly, auto-documentation kicks in, instantly giving the entire team a clear picture of their system. The platform debugger becomes their secret weapon, letting them squash those distributed bugs quickly instead of long hours or days. Fragmented documentation vanished. High maintenance effort for diagrams eliminated, and alignment challenges significantly reduced by shared live system understanding. Project saved. Team sanity largely restored. Pizza party to celebrate.
Okay, maybe you added the pizza party, but I get the idea.
So if you and your team are tired of documentation headaches and debugging nightmares, struggling with architectural drift and misalignment, and just want to build cooler distributed stuff faster and with less pain, I'm just saying you have to check out Multiplayer. Go to their website and play around with their features. See if it clicks for your team. Because for me and Bob, this feels like a game changer. Alright, that's my take. Let me know what you think in the comments.